strong faith isn't built fast. It's built with the right foundation. Today, we're talking about how to build healthy habits in the Bible, prayer, and worship, and how measuring gains isn't just for the gym, it's for our spiritual lives too. Join us as we talk about it. Welcome back to another episode of the Morning Manna Podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Nick Ertel. Today we have our lead pastor, Chris Fletcher.
As opposed to as always, and I
as usual. I said it.
Yeah.
All right.
Or are you going to sing the introduction next time?
You were, well, maybe.
Can I sing a question then?
That's right. All right. And then we also have Dr. Carlo Serrano.
I'm so confused. Did you introduce Chris? I got lost in all of it. Okay.
Yeah, he did.
Lead pastor, Chris
Thank
Fletcher.
you for letting me come
He
back.
said my name. Thank you for letting me come.
Yeah. Anytime. I'm glad. I keep passing the audition.
For a guy with your shoulders, your acumen, and your learning, you come in so sweet and humble.
So humble.
It's all pretend.
I know. Well, that's the yeah, I know.
You guys know me.
As he comes in and tells me I need to watch that documentary about the Cowboys,
Look,
America's
man.
team.
Look.
He's
it's
a
good
pastor
for your
at
soul.
heart.
I'm too wounded to watch that documentary.
Hopefully
I don't
during
want-
these 21 days.
I don't ever watch the Cowboys in January, so why should I start watching a documentary? They're never
right.
playing in January.
That's right.
My
Anyway.
microphone is running away from me.
Hey, I have good news, though.
What?
Lower your chair.
Good news is last week we had producer Sam. Boo.
Yeah, boo.
This week we have producer Bryson. Slightly better.
Slightly better.
Slightly better.
And
Wow.
the desk looks tiny again. Same desk. It's just a bigger human.
Yeah, it's tiny to me desk. Because, normal for everyone else. But
For sure.
Yeah.
No, it looked normal for
Tiny to me desk.
Sam, when he was my boss in the internship, he went through this phase where
Sam was your boss?
Ew.
Yeah, you made him my track leader.
Oh, that's great.
But he moved to this minimalist. He had a little desk, which was the size of my original tiny desk
Right.
from last season.
Yep.
And it was on wheels. And of course, it's downstairs in the second floor office, which is very large. And it was shared between 4 people. So he had
These
this
are a
corner.
lot of details.
Anyway, it was the funniest thing. He would just sit at this tiny little desk with just his laptop. I mean, it's not like he works. We all know that.
Right.
But like, it was.
Mom calls him every now and again and says he has to. So
That's right.
He
phones it in.
showed up. That was his
hours.
leather jacket days.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh,
Negan.
man. Yeah, it was pretty entertaining. All right.
What do you have for us?
Well, it's New Year's. And if Sam was a really good producer like me, then he would have done something New Year's oriented last week, but instead he
He
decided.
trolled.
Yes, the whole
He did
time.
troll us, didn't he?
Successfully. Because he rage baited and you took the bait.
Not
you
true.
did. You did.
No, I responded.
We even got a
Is he
comment.
rage baiting you right now?
How is a
Wait,
factual response? No,
I'm just saying,
I'm
it's
actually
true.
interested. I'm interested. So, in order to satisfy the youths, the whatever generation he and Sam are, when they say anything unfactual and ridiculous, you should never. You don't respond. You don't set their facts straight. You don't respond. You don't respond at all. You just sit there and take it. So, you know what? I'm learning, Bryson.
That's good. Wow. It's New Year's, new leaf. This
Set
is
them
great.
straight.
Yeah.
Set them straight, Chris.
Anyway, so we're going to do a New Year's related icebreaker. And we could, if I was a really good producer, we would talk about our New Year's resolutions and all that sort of stuff. But I am not a really good producer. I'm a kind of good producer. So what we're going to do is something the opposite. We're going to do reverse New Year's resolutions. I want you guys to go around the table and tell the other people what their New Year's resolution should be. So here,
Oh, that's mean.
for example, Chris, I think for your New Year's resolution, you should minimize the number of times that you sarcastically interrupt somebody to only 10 times per day.
Oh.
Only 10. I think that's fair. Carlo, I think maybe for your New Year's resolution, minimize your threats of physical violence to only 2 times per day. You can still threaten people.
That's a challenge.
Yeah. And then, Nick, get even one other hobby besides working out. And then maybe buy a new T-shirt.
I will have you know this is a different T-shirt than what I wore last week. God honest truth. I mean, I have multiple of them. So, yeah, I'll continue buying them, and there'll be new T-shirts.
Good. So let's start with you, Nick. Let's hear what you think Carlo and Chris.
Chris's came to mind right away. I think Chris's New Year's resolution should be to bring in all of the grocery bags in one trip.
You know, we got a comment from that Pastor Jeffrey, And I just need publicly to interrupt here and repent because apparently I co-opted the question. I was referred to in the comment as, I love you, Pastor Nick and Pastor Chris, but the other one co-opted.
The other one.
And so I want publicly to apologize for interrupting a poorly formed, ignorant question.
They didn't even say your name?
I should not have done that.
Yeah.
Forgive me. There it is.
I'm also look at you fulfilling
Look at
your
this
New
guy.
Year's resolution by not threatening physical violence.
Well,
to
actually,
Joffrey.
There it is.
I'm not
Good for
helping
you.
your New Year's resolution from him because I think your New Year's resolution should be to follow through on your threat to Sam. Like we should actually have an on location bit where Sam tries to fight you.
With
I
our
can't do that.
with our new studio, we could fit some jujitsu.
I
mats.
really love his parents, and his wife is a dear friend of ours, and I don't know that I could do that to them.
We could just give him like 60 seconds.
I
in the
don't
ring.
know that any of the people you listed would mind that much if it resulted
If
in an
they say-
attitude. If it
if they
resulted
say-
in an
yeah.
attitude adjustment, they would put up with a black eye for a week.
If they sign off on it, then
I think
50,000.
all of
likes
those
to
people
make
would
a
be
hand.
okay with that.
that's wild. Bless him.
Those are my New Year's resolutions.
That's very good.
Is it my turn?
It is.
Strike Sam, grocery
No,
bags.
I want Chris and Nick to lay down their right to be right and watch the America's Team documentary in full.
Yes,
no.
I'm so
in
glad.
full with an open
Yes.
heart and open mind and learn some things and let go of some things because that's
Very
what I'm
good.
Is that what it
sensing.
is?
Yeah.
It's 21 days of prayer, so I'm just a little more in tune than some of y'all maybe. So
okay.
I'm just
Some of us.
sensing y'all are holding on to some stuff. That documentary might set you free. There it
Well,
is.
since they're not watching the Cowboys in January for the playoffs, they could
See,
watch.
that was just rude. I wasn't going to go all the way there.
You're more
As
mature than
as
I
my
am.
team is also sitting home, but anyway.
I'm feeling special because mine is not.
My New Year's resolution for you, Carlo, is to get another degree.
Okay.
And my New Year's resolution for you, Nick, is to find another producer.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I might take that on.
So we'll see.
Oh, hey, producer Bryson.
Oh, hey, yeah. I
Didn't see there.
You got me. All right, you win. That one took me off guard. and
Did it?
I did. Yeah.
He wasn't expecting that.
The thing
That's
is,
good.
like, there's a couple people that
I sat here quietly.
Yeah,
notice,
you did.
notice how poor the show got there for a minute. I sat quietly and didn't say anything because I chose not to correct all of
We
your
so need your
obvious
comments.
ridiculousness.
Your comments.
I was tracking what you were doing.
I wanted you to
saw it,
starve.
yeah.
I wanted you to starve.
Oh,
for
we were
my,
starving so badly.
your silence was truly deafening. We really felt.
I was tracking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I notice. I said you can still sarcastically interrupt people, but just like 10 times a day and not your current, which I'll let you self-evaluate how many that is.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to tell you a story about myself and invite you to my living room. We were watching something with the kids last night, and I was getting foggy. And the older I get, the earlier the foggy sets in. So my son, who's 19, was like, "Man, we got time. Let's watch an episode of this." And I was like, "Dude, I can't even." And so then I said, "I can't even," but I had the remote, so I was just like flipping through what else they had. So then my daughter was like, "Psh, so we have time to like not watch anything, but we're flipping through this." I wonder where she got that. And so I immediately like turned everything off. And my wife was like, "Guys, if he's gonna react, like that's just if you say something like that to him, he's gonna react."
That's fuel.
And I said, "Wait, how is doing and responding to the thing that you said a reaction? You are reacting to me because reaction simply means to act because of another action that was taken." And then it like descended from there. So I was getting foggy, but then I
all
woke back
fuel.
up. But I submit the question to the table. Help me learn to be a better boy. What did I do?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't figure you were going to help.
Because I'm envisioning like that comment back to you was like someone put smelling salts under your nose and you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh boy, I'm
Now
here
you're
now.
awake.
Let's go."
He
Got
was
me
asleep.
now.
He
You wanna
was
play?
a sleeper agent who had been activated and goes, "Boop, all right, fine. There you go."
Yeah. Our youngsters, our teenagers, our young adults, they like to get into battles of wits, and they are so unarmed. And so
Yeah.
I resonate with that. Like,
Yeah.
They try to be witty.
Yeah, you're
And they don't
trying to
realize
shame
you were
them.
there
Don't
when
do
the
that.
dark magic was written.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah. You just discovered the darkness. So
That's right.
it's born
That's
in
right.
it.
Yes.
Molded by it.
Look here for all of our viewers.
I
we
love it,
don't want
Aslan.
you to be, discounted from this conversation. So we feel like Nick could just adopt many New Year's resolutions. So we want to hear in the comments down below what New Year's resolutions should Nick take on for this year? It's
good.
We'd love to see him just take on new
good.
goals, grow. So we would love to hear it. And my favorite of your comments will be picked next week.
Okay.
Maybe we'll even vote between me, Nick.
Your favorite comment of their New Year's resolution from me.
Yes, that's correct.
That segment was. Go ahead.
I just had an idea, an epiphany. Lightning has just struck my brain. What if, speaking of New Year's resolutions, so we're both working out, you know.
Yeah.
What if we did this on set one time and you can coach me in the weightlifting?
Oh, I don't like this.
And then you and I can go for a light jog.
Like yoga.
Somehow I knew it would end up there. No, here's the thing.
This morning I finished.
I am doing cardio now.
As I was finishing, well, good for you. But as I was finishing, Matthias pulls up into the neighborhood and he honks at me like he's trying to be a jerky McJerkface. So he parks the car. So I was like, "Hey, man, just in time. The sprints are. I'm starting the sprints now. So come on." And he skedaddled in the house like lickety
He shouldn't have been moving
for
that
him.
fast because we squatted this morning and he was like limping out of, which was dramatic.
I
mean,
could
bless
have
his soul.
paced that lactic acid right on off, but he
I was going to
bailed.
say that segment could have drifted very mean, and I'm glad that it didn't. But I want to shout out Nick because they make fun of your weightlifting. You're probably one of the most consistent people I know. That I was with you like maybe 4 weeks into. Hey, I've started this new weightlifting diet. You like told me the whole thing, how you jumped off the cliff. And man, you've stuck with it. So that's
trying.
not. I'm not even joking. Like that's.
thank you.
That's
Thank
rare.
you.
That must have hurt.
In moments of where we were actually being sincere with one another, I've told Nick, I mean, it's genuine motivation. If there's someone who actually walks it out, I mean, there's
Tell you
someone who
what.
says, I'm going to do it.
I want
He
to shave
actually
my
does
arms
it.
like Nick. I want to shave my head like Nick.
You don't have arm hair. I mean, there's no, sorry, that was too low. I'm the young one.
I think we need to
sure.
move on here.
All right, there was one of my
great.
the best comment from last week was from Tanya Walker, who she said, "Did Pastor Sam?" Weird that I heard him say Pastor Sam.
Yeah.
really says shopping cart. Come on now, everyone knows it's a buggy.
I have
disagree.
heard them. I have heard them called buggies.
I would never
I mean,
call
if
it a buggy.
If you're a
100%.
North Carolina native, I feel like you should be saying
No.
buggy.
Well, I'm not a native.
Is that a? My wife and I have this argument all the time.
I think
Are there
it's a shopping
words?
cart.
Are there words that are specific to certain parts of the country like that?
That's probably
Yeah,
true.
very much.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
But I'm originally from Florida.
Tennis shoe, sneaker, couch,
Okay.
sofa, soda, pop. There's a lot of words
Yeah,
like that.
I love you, but Florida's like,
That's a different country.
yeah, and it's sort of like a retirement
And there's 5
other
different
country, and
sections
there's
of
there's a
Florida,
bunch
too.
of so
That's
that's
true.
true.
You're
I
in
can't-
different sections.
Yeah, your
I can't
Florida's
hear
not
that
my
from you, but my wife always comes at me with like her Jersey, whatever. Like I say it's one word. She's like, no, that's not what that is. What are you talking about?
Jersey is just incorrect. I mean, like we at least have a leg up on Jersey.
Great.
Yeah,
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
As long as we can match that energy, I'm fine.
Yeah,
Apologies to all the Jersey listeners. There's at least 10,000 of them.
We just got shut down in Jersey.
That's
Yeah,
right.
well.
All right, well, let's jump into our meat and potatoes for today. We are in week 2 of Firm Foundations, and this week we're going to get really practical. We're going to talk about the Bible. We're going to talk about prayer. We're going to talk about worship.
As opposed to all that other slop we've been doing.
Well, last week was like the foundation of the foundation, and
Yeah.
we were philosophical. Now it's more like we're going to give you 3 practical habits that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that today. But before we get into those 3, we're starting at the beginning.
a very good
very good
place to start.
That's right. We're starting from in fact, you actually take us through this little thing at the beginning of the message.
When
where-
I spell, I begin with A, B, C. When I sing,
what are you doing?
I begin with Do, Re,
Sound of
Mi.
music, man.
Oh, okay. Yes. All right.
You
Well,
uncultured swine.
okay. It was way before my time.
It was way before my time.
Well, you're over there singing it. So
I was very homeschooled.
we're starting at the beginning.
A very good place to start.
Oh, my gosh.
This is just going to keep
This
happening.
is terrible.
The Pavlovian response. You can't. Yeah.
At the beginning of the message, you
Okay.
have everyone repeat this after you. We're starting at the beginning. And because we're not just measuring the gap,
Yep.
we're measuring gains. Can you explain, like, are you talking about the gym? We're measuring gains?
Kind of. Yeah, we're measuring gains.
Okay.
So let's use the gym as an example. You're working out, so you probably have some kind of ideal. I have some kind of ideal if I'm going for a run. I want to run this far. I want to run within this sort of time frame. And there are times where I'll hit that goal. And I'm very goal motivated, and I think people should be goal motivated. But I don't think we should keep our at home, I'm doing real good, it was a win scorecard only by our goals. So I think we need to be careful that we judge all of our lives through I started something brand new, and then I got to I'm here at this stage of the journey, and I've got this goal, my idealized self, and I'm not there yet. And a lot of times we get defeated by the gap. I think that January's New Year's resolutions a lot of times die in the gap in February of I tried, I didn't quite accomplish this ridiculous goal, it's not working, and so, I fell apart. I'm suggesting that by starting a new year fresh, we can measure the gains, the distance between the starting point and where I am right now. I can measure the gains in my life. And I can measure the gains in my life day 2 of a Bible reading plan, because the gain of day 1 was I showed up, I read the Bible, I did it. I showed up, I did it. I read what was on the plan, and I'm moving forward. Part of the reason I have a years and years and years and years Bible habit is not because I have a gap of never missing a Bible reading day for all of my life. That's the goal, right? But I don't measure myself between that and perfection. I measure myself between that and the gain of I showed up yesterday and I read, and then the next day I showed up yesterday and I read and I read and I read. Show up.
Okay, so let me ask you, do you think it's healthy to measure where you're at and where your goal is?
Of course. I think you should be driven by that. Absolutely. But I don't think you should dwell on it. I think you should dwell on your gains, because when you dwell on your gains, I think that's puts you in an attitude of gratitude. Yeah. I think I can be grateful. Let me put it this way.
So you're saying do both?
Yeah. My wife and I have dreams for our home, or a home we're going to live in, or an ideal vacation. Yeah. And at the same time, maybe this isn't the year we're going to take that dream vacation, but doggone it, I'm not working for this week. So the gap would be me going, man, I didn't make it to my ideal vacation. The gain would be, this is amazing. I'm not working for a week. I'm spending all of my time hanging out with my family. And whether I go anywhere or not, I can celebrate the gain of the win of I got time off.
Yeah. So how do you stay driven in the midst of that? Because as you're saying that, I'm such a goal-driven person.
So am I.
And I can't help but try to live in that future spot of this is where I'm trying to go. This is what I'm trying to achieve. Even as you're talking about working out, like I've got some body composition goals in mind that I want to achieve as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And I can almost obsess over it.
Maybe I'm just old. The older I've gotten and the more I've obsessed over goals, I find myself too often being negative because I'm not to my goal yet, as opposed to looking at it, and I look at it. I'll be real transparent with you. I was a bit of a fluffier kid when I was younger. So I've always been driven by kind of weight, numbers, management, etc. I know my body weight every day, twice a day. Sometimes when you're trying to lose weight, you can get obsessed with, I didn't quite hit the number, this, that, or the next day, and get really down, as opposed to the gain of celebrating. I celebrate the wins. Yeah, I see this in the Old Testament. The Israelites were constantly going to a new place and then setting up a monument to remind them of where God had brought them from.
Yeah,
that's good. So I think it's celebrating back and celebrating the wins and celebrating and remembering the goodness of God back there, the goodness of God yesterday, remembering that sort of thing, that I think sets me up to be this goal-driven. We're all three very goal-driven, type A driven. Like we're all those type of people. So lest you think I'm saying this because I want to give you some excuse for why I'm not going to get up and try to slay my inner weakling tomorrow when I hop into the gym or go for a run, you're thinking incorrectly. I'm just trying to live remembering that I'm a child of God who gives good gifts. And if I spend all my time focusing on the gap, I can mistakenly think that he didn't give me a good gift. He did. It's just not all the way here yet.
Yeah, I think about what Chris teaches us about the concept of holiness as a direction. So I think that's how you can live in both of these spaces with any of these goals, things you're trying to do. It's the progress. I'm not where I used to be should be the thing that we celebrate.
Yeah.
We know I'm going somewhere, but can't I at least celebrate that? It could be worse because I know where I was. So that's for me, that's what drives me. And I like the idea of monuments. I shared this with our Man U staff a couple days ago. Whenever you feel mission drift, whenever you're just stuck in the monotony of crunching numbers, just walk around our hallways and look, because we've intentionally curated a space in our Fayetteville campus. It's just students and stories. Like, that's why we're here.
Right.
That's what we're doing.
Yep.
And those monuments to look at how far we've come, look at what God has done. It just brings that clarity.
That's really good.
Back to what you're doing. So
The point in starting the message that way is I wanted to teach a foundation because I want people to understand that habits of Bible reading, prayer, fellowship, accountability, worship, all these things that we're gonna put in as these healthy habits that help us live full lives with God. It's not the habits that lead to the fullness. It's the fullness of this relationship with God that lead to the habits. So I wanted to start with the foundation of going, no, it is my love for Him that drives me to the Word.
Absolutely.
Not my desire to read the Word enough times to level up to be a holy Christian. And then when I started this message talking about gaps versus gains, I want to start by it's just a glimpse inside my head. I'm a big, at the beginning of the year, zero everything out. We're going to preach the gospel at Manna Church as if no one has been born again this year, because the very first service of the year, no one has. So we're going to start from zero, not living off of, we're going to celebrate back there, but we're going to start from zero, because what we're going to do as we go through the year is celebrate the gain. Look what God did. We started at zero at the beginning of this year. So we're going to celebrate the gain.
That helps you too from the comparison trap. Now, yes, we should measure goals. We should say this was last year's enrollment. Here's where we are this year. We should do that. But I think if we start there, it causes us to dismiss all the good stuff that God has done. So I love that, zeroing it out. Yeah. And hey, we have 200 new groups that started. Yeah, we started 300 last year, but that 200 groups still started. This is important stuff.
When I was a nationally ranked triathlete, asterisk, he can't really be serious about that. I was projecting that back to Sam. Yep. I'm sorry. When I used to race triathlon fairly regularly, the trap you fall into, especially when you race with people who are in your age group, is you can accidentally end up just comparing your times to them. And there are moments where I would go, that was a good workout, and my coach would go, it's not. And I go, yeah, well, I beat so-and-so. And she would say, yeah, but
it's holding you back.
That's not what we're racing, Christopher. We're not racing your teammate. We're racing you.
Got it.
You have potential, and you slept in these 3 days and skipped 3 workouts, and he didn't in ground, and you might have beaten him, but
okay. So you're competing against yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to give you with this gap gain thing. Is I'm trying to give you some games to play against yourself, because otherwise human beings naturally play games against each other, and then all of a sudden we get onto this comparison wheel, and then we go, why are all these habits beating me into the ground? I don't find any life in them. Well, 2 reasons. Number 1, you think the habits are the point. And number 2, you're comparing your progress with other people.
There you go. And so I wonder what that looks like as a Christian. We're talking about sports analogies, but as a Christian, there are times where we compare ourselves to someone else's journey, someone else's walk, someone else's gifts. And maybe, I wonder, does shame play a part in all of this?
I think there's a little bit of shame. I think there's a little bit of guilt. I was on a rooftop.
It's a little bit of pride too.
Pride. I was on a rooftop hanging out with some Manna Youth students. We were on a missions trip together. They're graduate students, and we're picking my brain. We're talking. We're chatting. And I remember just out of nowhere, almost like rebuking them. They wanted to reach out to a faculty member to get a bunch of information. And I said, that's very rude, because that faculty member has spent a lifetime learning and reading the books and wrestling with the thoughts. And you think because you have access to them, you can shortcut this process and just get all of this stuff from them. Yeah. You're not them. You need to walk your race. You need to live your journey. You need to go through the process yourself. They'll help you along the way. I think sometimes that's where we that comparison of, why am I not there? I think I should be better than. Everyone expects me to be this, so I should be. And that
it's my heart to help you find rhythms in your life that help you level up against yourself and against who you were yesterday, and to walk fully into who God created you to be, not to make you a clone of myself or to make you somebody who competes with somebody else. That's That at the end of the day, I find very defeating.
Back when I was overseeing the internship, I remember one year we had an intern who was older than the rest of the interns, and they were so flabbergasted by how far some of these younger interns were in their spiritual journey. Like, they were reading the Bible, they're praying, and they're evangelizing, all of these things. And for them, being older than the rest of the interns, in their mind, they're thinking, man, I should be so much further along. How is it that these people who are 8, 9, 10 years younger than me, they're outperforming me in these spiritual things? things, and at first it really discouraged them. But when they got to the place where they realized, you know what, this is where I'm at right now, and I'm just going to worry about my own journey and where God has me right now and just embrace the season He's got me in, man, everything changed.
People react to listening to whoever go, just accept yourself as you are. Christians will react to that. The trouble is not the statement. The trouble is the heart behind the statement. Mm-hmm. Just accept yourself as you are because nobody really changes. That's not the gospel. Yep. But be content in the place and the season that God has me.
Yep.
Absolutely is biblical.
Yes.
Because I am content. Your mercies are new every morning. At the same time, tomorrow's got enough trouble of its own.
Yeah.
You better just absorb what God has for you today and not try to go borrow tomorrow's trouble. So the sad thing about what the enemy does in society with biblical truth is he co-opts some words and tries to turn it into meaning like we just need to accept ourselves as we are today. If I'm accepting myself as I am today and making an excuse for why I'm going to sit on my butt and do nothing, wrong. But if I'm going to accept who I am today, because this is the day that the Lord has made. This is what He's given me today. His mercies are new every morning, but His mercy to do what I put on my list ain't there today, so it ain't happening.
Yeah. Vision is absolutely seeing and shaping future. There's a piece to that, but where we have to be careful is we don't control that though. We can't make that stuff happen.
Right.
So that's why all these spiritual practices, disciplines, whatever you're calling them, are so much about presence, being where your feet are planted. I have nowhere to be except for where I am. That's just such a liberating way to live life.
Yep.
Yeah, God's moving me forward. I'm headed in a direction,
Yeah.
but I don't have anywhere to be.
Right.
But right here in this moment where I am.
And it's partly why we're talking about all these things in a place where I'm encouraging our church to use digital as a tool. Because it's not that digital as an entertainment thing is bad. I actually miss being able to watch sports on my phone because it's helpful if somebody's watching something else on the TV and it's like, no, you don't understand. I know you don't want to watch football, but the Ravens and the Steelers are down to
You're choosing to be present.
I'm choosing to be here right now and not to use some kind of bridge to take me to some other place.
I'm not going to disconnect
because we're distracted. It's one of the things I'm going to tell you about prayer when we get to that discipline. One of the greatest things about spiritual things is you're going to find way more juice, way more sauce when you're not distracted, when you're focused, when you're present, when you're just right there.
That's right. And it reminds me, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to do the three nights of prayer and worship. If you're watching this earlier in the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we have 3 nights prayer and worship, 6:30 at our Cliffdale site. Come and let's press in together. But I'm a little nervous because we're going to do a liquid only fast.
Why are you nervous?
We did that last year.
We did.
Yeah.
And it hurts, man.
Yeah.
It's tough. And I was thinking through that this morning. Like, I'm not going to work out those days. I'm going to change. But here's the spiritual thing.
Last year, that was when it got real tough. Like I was doing like a once a day, every day. I'm going to do some kind of workout, no rest days at all.
You tried to work out while doing on a liquid only?
Day 1, I did.
Did you about pass out?
Yeah, day 2, I was like, you better send somebody in to revive me.
That's right. You have to alter your habits.
That's it.
You have to alter your habits in order to achieve those things. And I want to talk about this idea of habits.
Yeah.
Because some people look at habits when they're starting a new habit like as a resolution. The same way that some people will say, I'm starting a diet, right?
Yes.
But there's a difference between a resolution and a rhythm. There's a difference between starting a diet and no, I just eat healthy. This is just who I am. When we talk about spiritual disciplines and these healthy habits that we're about to get into, are these more like resolutions or are they more like, no, I'm starting a new rhythm?
They're rhythms. They're lifestyle choices. Yeah, they are the things that happen as the result of a life surrendered to God, a life surrendered to the love God, love each other, love the world. If you do that, what I'm going to say is that these habits, these things, these are going to be sort of hallmarks, tests as to how they're I don't know, like a litmus test.
Yeah, I love how Chandler forms it in her great work on spiritual formation. I prefer the word practices These are practices. It's a way of life. This is not just a habit, not just a resolution, I understand the heart behind even discipline, thinking of it that way, but no, this is a practices. I call them the Jesus practices. That's really what we're talking about.
Yep.
Time in the Word, time with people, time in solitude, all of that. These are just the Jesus practices. So if we are to be
The Jesus
followers, the Jesus people, then we have to walk in his way. And that's why I think this is so central.
What a smart guy.
He is a smart guy.
We should put him in charge of higher education.
Hillsborough County, Florida, GED.
Oh, shout
putting
out.
it to work right
Let's
now.
go.
There it is.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Look at that.
The GD
Hard
crew
work.
over
Hard
here.
work.
Come on, man. Yeah, no.
No.
All right. So habits, they shape our peace, our direction, our peace, and our pace. Right. You said that in the message. I was trying to make sure I got it right.
Yeah.
Can you break those down for us? Like, how does it shape our direction? How does it shape our peace?
Well, habits, practices shape your direction because whatever you practice, you become. Whatever you practice at is what you're going to do in the game.
Yep.
And they shape your direction because when the game gets started, that's what's going to move you. That's what's going to move you forward. And habits and peace, I think that we think of peace as like this external construct. When the weather's perfect and everything's perfect outside, then I can find some peace. I actually find some peace in knowing that I've written down some things I'm going to do for tomorrow, and I'm going to wake up tomorrow and be about them because there's going to be storms all around them. And so focusing on these practices, focusing on these things is foundational. Focusing on these things is, I'm just going to do them regardless of how I feel. I'm going to do them. I think there's peace to that because I think people are living ungrounded, untethered lives. Individual, untethered, ungrounded, unfocused, largely driven by an obsession with digital and I can be connected everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And I think that leads to people feeling untethered. I think a lot of people feel like they're in the ocean with no lifeboat. Yeah. And what I'm suggesting is the Jesus way is the opposite of that. It is tethered to truth and to connection and to people. It's tethered to him, it's tethered to others, and it's tethered to his mission to change the world.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think it affects your peace.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I think we would all agree that show me your calendar and I'll show you your priorities.
And your wallet.
Show me your bank account and I'll show you your priorities.
Yeah, I'll show you what you love.
Does this apply to spiritual disciplines?
Of course. Yeah, of course.
And what does that look like?
It really connects, I would say, listen to last week's message, like, because where your treasure is, your heart will be. Jesus said that. And so I think prioritizing time with God, not as a religious checklist, but as, no, I really want to, as Brother Lawrence said, practice the presence of God. What does that look like for me? Yeah. It just has to be a priority. So how do you prioritize it? For some people, it will be, I need to have a calendar appointment, a meeting time. I think we talk about that.
Yes.
A time and a place to go and get into the Word. I also think just setting yourself up for success helps a lot too. I'm thinking about, the end of our time doing this 21 days of prayer and fasting. And I was working on a future message thinking of, I know how you can blow it. I know how you can mess this thing up pretty quickly. and so, for example, making your calendar so full of things that there's no time to spend time, not having access to anything that's going to put you in a place where God's going to be pleased with what you're listening to, with what you're watching, with who you're around. Like those are all ways that you can set yourself up for failure or for success.
Yeah. Working on a new habit or a new rhythm means you're going to say no to more things than you're going to say yes to. As a matter of fact, I would say more often in your life, you're going to have to use the word no than you are the word yes, because no empowers yes.
Yes.
If you just say yes to everything, you've said yes to everything and nothing all at the same time.
Yeah, you're not going to do anything
You're going to do nothing.
So every Tuesday night is a family night for us, and I schedule it off in my calendar. Like, it's family night.
Yeah.
If someone asks me, can you do this Tuesday night? I can't. I'm booked. Fully booked.
Fully booked.
Fully booked. Well, you're just with your family. No, there's no just.
First of all, how dare you say just?
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't threaten people.
That's right. Calm down. Dude, did you change your shirt? Oh my gosh. I looked back there.
He just took his jacket off. Easy.
It is the hottest it's ever been in this room.
It is quite warm.
Yeah.
Okay.
These leather
Wow,
chairs.
you really threw me
Is
off
that your
over there.
raging fever?
No.
Yes,
stop. Okay, look.
It is the hottest.
Just because I've been coughing over here.
Welcome back, by the way. It's been weird around the office without you. You being all this sicking and hacking. It's good to have you back.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me with a death stare? I'm genuinely happier when you're
that's
here
just his
than
face.
when you're not.
I was waiting.
That's his genuine face.
I'm a younger sibling. I'm waiting. You're the oldest sibling. I'm the youngest.
I'm going to
waiting
take that
for-
compliment back.
No. Thank you.
Wow.
I appreciate
How come
that.
all of our producers are the youngest siblings?
You schedule them. What do
Yeah.
you mean? How come ours?
Hey,
As if-
I need to take your New Year's resolution for
Hot
me.
dang, bro.
I need to take it to heart. All right.
Thank
Back to
you,
my story.
Chris. I appreciate that.
Family time.
I missed
We're
you too.
done with you. Yeah, family time. So every Tuesday night is family time for me. I prioritize that.
Just family?
It's in my schedule, right?
Yeah.
If some people may look at that and say, "Wow, that's really shallow. You have to put it in your calendar for you to have family time." No. If it's not in my calendar, it's not a priority for me.
That's right.
So how much more so for carving out time to spend with the Lord? So I'm going to get up early, and if I need to be somewhere at a certain time, well, then I'm reverse engineering that. How much earlier do I need to wake up so that I can get time in the Word, so that I can spend some time with the Lord?
My lovely wife Jamie. Chris put us inside his home. I'll put you inside mine for a little bit. My lovely wife Jamie, she gets up like 3:30, 4 in the morning. Just so she doesn't have to rush at all with her time with
Bro,
God.
when does she go to sleep?
Like she just gets up super early.
That's
She's like, this is
crazy.
what I want to do. So I'm going to make sure I have that time and that space. My father modeled a great way for us. My father's mindset was before my feet hit the ground or I take more than 2 steps, I want to be in God's word or talking to him. So I watched that growing up. So for me, I don't have to necessarily calendar time with God because it is literally the first thing I do. If you ask,
Yes.
what is Carlo doing within
Pray and read the Bible. Very first thing I do. I'm sometimes praying and reading the Bible before my teeth are brushed.
within 5 minutes of being awake, I will be in the
Correct.
Word of God. That's just my rhythm.
Yeah.
Correct.
So different people, different things.
Well, I should be clear. I didn't mean to say that as if I literally put it in my
No,
calendar.
I'm tracking.
But the idea is, if I know I'm meeting someone at the gym at 6:30, well, I'm not waking up at 6 o'clock so I can be at the gym at 6:30. No, I'm waking up at 5:15 so I can spend time in the Word and with the Lord, so that
I've also been on a business trip with you, and I've seen you model that
Well,
too.
I've seen you model the same thing as well.
We've got an early morning wake up, so you're up even earlier.
You guys need to get your own rooms.
Well, we both just get up early. It worked.
Oh, wow. I have a journal I've started keeping where I've got wins for the day, and then I've got the 3 big things that I'm going to do tomorrow. And on that, I put what time I'm going to wake up. I will write down the wake up time, and I'll write down my workout.
Like a physical journal.
yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think there's something to having something tactile.
Even when we're not 21 days of prayer and fasting, I am not a evening time.
Are you a journal guy?
Yeah, oh yeah. I have two paper journals.
Yeah.
I'm not an evening time, and I have a Kindle, but then I have other books that I read. So typically at night, when I come home from work, I'll put my phone upstairs. Sometimes it'll come downstairs, most of the time not. I'll leave it upstairs, and I'll bring down books. And then I've got my spot on the couch, and I'm older now, so I stick my glasses on, and I read.
Yeah, that's very good.
Listen to music.
Let's jump into these healthy habits we've been talking about. So the first one is the Bible. First of all, do you
Bible.
prefer, when you read the Bible,
Read some books.
do you prefer a physical Bible or a digital Bible?
I used more digital at the end of the year than I probably should have.
What do you mean by that? Should have. Like, is it a bad thing?
I'm more focused when I'm away from. So when I'm preaching and I'm using examples, I'm not thinking of negative people in front of me. I'm thinking of the negative person who's preaching.
The things you've experienced.
Yes. So when I'm saying, where do you think I get that? I'm reading the Bible, and all of a sudden, da 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 da, the ESPN thing pops up. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me.
All I'm saying is that doesn't happen at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. You don't get ESPN.
I mean, when you
updates.
follow world sports, you might get
maybe.
some. Yeah.
Well, when your phone's been basically not touched for the last 12 hours.
Oh, yeah.
You got a whole bunch of notifications to catch up on when you pop the thing open. So I typically use my phone to look at the Bible reading thing. And for your judgment-y information, I've been getting up earlier. So when it's dark and I'm not trying to wake everybody up, I told you I have the Kindle. So I downloaded the ESV on my Kindle. So I read my Bible on the Kindle.
There you go. What about you? Are you physical or digital?
I'm actually the opposite. I focus better.
With digital?
I can go deeper digitally. I just was an early adopter with that kind of technology, especially books. reading that way.
Are you doing like the YouVersion Bible app?
Yeah, so I use the YouVersion Bible app and the Logos app because this is just my idiosyncrasy.
Oh, man.
I don't feel like hunting down where I was reading. So my actual daily rhythm plan, I do in YouVersion, and then anything I want to go deeper in studying, I
You
flip
have
over.
Logos open.
I have Logos open on my.
I have Logos on my phone.
Do you?
But I don't do it. I don't do that level of depth study in my morning time because I just shut up and listen to God. So I don't really study and dig deeper. I have obviously tons of physical Bibles. I love a physical Bible. I will read one, but for my daily rhythm, I know the number one way to make sure that I don't get into the Word in depth is to rely on a physical copy.
I have pastor friends that react to it, but I have just grown up the son of Michael Fletcher, so I am not a study the text that I'm going to preach
Yeah, I'm with you on
in the
that.
morning guy.
Never.
I'm studying the Bible for the Bible in the morning time, and then
For me.
it's kind of a rule for me. But until it's 9 in the morning, I won't shift to Bible as work. Like this does not become a tool of my job until work time, and then after work time, I try to keep this as usually in that stack of books. I do have my Bible because I will circle back to something that's kind of sitting on me. Some of these Psalms we've been reading have been kind of jumping back on me. What does it mean that his favor is over me as a shield? And so just kind of ruminating and meditating on that passage.
I remember being at GCD, now Manna U, and one of the classes that I took was pastoral.
You know what GCD spells musically?
What's that?
GCD is a G-sus chord.
Jesus.
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 There you go.
Jesus.
Random thoughts with Chris.
Odd. I used to ask when I taught music theory at Grace College of Divinity, I would say, what's God's favorite chord? And I would say it's Jesus.
It's GCD.
GCD.
There you go. All right, so one of the classes that I took was pastoral ministry, something like that. And I remember one of the interesting what's happening?
He's being a toilet bowl.
Okay. So one of the interesting things that they were talking about was how many, I forget the statistic, but how many pastors do not read their Bible on a regular basis, but they will prepare a message and say, that's my Bible reading.
Yeah.
And I'm with you in the sense that I don't want that to be me. Even on Sunday mornings when I know I'm going to preach, a lot of people would probably spend their energy getting ready for the message or going back through whatever. Like, I need the Bible for me first. And I think there's a principle there that I'm trying to embody. I need this for me before I share this with anyone else.
It's not a command in Scripture. I wouldn't heap guilt on you, and especially if you're a pastor watching or listening right now, I wouldn't say you're wrong or bad, especially if you're new to getting in your message in your devotional time on Sunday morning. I wouldn't say that. I would say, because I am Michael's son, I developed a rhythm very early on of devotions for the sake of connecting with God outside of the songs I'm going to sing, the word I'm going to preach, whatever I'm going to facilitate on Sunday morning. I need my relationship. I feel like the church will be happier if I'm connected to God than if I'm connected to what I'm trying to preach.
Boom. I was just going to say that. I love pastors. I am one. I've trained one. I empathize with it's funny. My heart went the same way to that young new guy who's got a 2-year-old kid, and like I get he's working 3 jobs.
I'm throwing no guilt on you, man.
I love all of that now, but all caps. But if I had to prioritize what I think matters the most, for example, a church that gathers, should we have small groups or a big gathering? I would say if you had to choose, gun to your head, hey guys, gather in small groups, and you're going to be okay.
I agree.
If I have to prepare a homiletically sound message with an application and an illustration and exegesis and good preaching, or let me just get up and talk out of what God's doing in my heart. I think if you're really walking with Him, I would probably prefer that over the most polished, big idea, beautiful
There's
message.
an impartation when that happens.
And that's good. And we should aim for, hey, be a professional, like preach well, do that stuff well, especially if...
No, I'm saying there's an impartation when it's just coming straight out of...
I think there can be an impartation in both. But what I'm getting at is if I have to prioritize what matters the most, I'm going to be better at the sharp, polished preaching. It's only going to be more powerful if it's coming from a real place of, I've got this walk, I've got this devotional life. So if I have to choose, hey, just spend time with Jesus.
That's good.
Now let's pause and go back to the beginning of the message.
Yep.
If we gap gain this thing, then what you can do is you can look at that and go, oh, I'm not Dr. Carlo. Oh, I feel defeated because look at how far ahead he is. Wait, pause.
Don't let that shame.
Hold on. if you're that pastor he's talking about, brand new to the game, you got a 2-year-old kid, you're working 2 jobs because you're a Bible kid, and you're going, bro, like it's the last time I got to get up and brush this thing up in the morning. Like I'm at my wit's end. Pause. Look back to the days when you wouldn't even get up and speak publicly, or the days when you would get up and your knees would knock together. Hold on for a second.
Yeah.
Look at what God's done in your life and how far he's brought you, and celebrate that, and then be motivated and driven by that.
Yeah.
I show up and listen to him preach messages that I wrote. So I'm going to preach at 9:30. He's going to preach at 8:15. I've watched him preach messages I'm going to write, or I've written, and I'm going to preach in a minute, and gone, I need to level up to somebody who's been doing this a little bit longer than I have, and he's pushed me.
Yeah.
The thing about gaps and gains is the more that, and this is why the habit of the Bible is so important, and that you go to it even in the days when you feel like, I don't even know why I'm putting it in there. There's sometimes when you put it in there, not so you can draw on that today, it's so you can draw on that in 3 years.
That's right, man.
Bro.
I'm still working on the message for this weekend. I haven't preached it yet.
Yeah.
I'm still working on this message we're talking about. I have not preached it yet. And in sitting down, I recognize something I'm grateful for. This is a gain that God's done in my life. As I sat down, I thought, you know what? As I'm teaching the Bible, I need to give people examples of things that I'm saying. So I started writing verses down, and then I'm using Logos and the internet to find the references, not to find the verses. I didn't sit down and go, give me a verse on so-and-so. I went,
no.
oh yeah, which psalm is this? I know it's a psalm. I know
Right.
it's this. But
You just
I
don't know
can't
the
remember.
number.
I don't know the number.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is, every one of the examples I wrote, I did not ever ask Google or Logos or anyone to say, give me a verse on. Boom. I said, what reference is this?
It's already in your heart, but that's something that's been instilled in you previously. Yeah.
But you don't get there. You don't get there by.
That's consistency.
You
That's
don't,
just,
and you don't get there by. You don't get there by try hard.
Yeah.
You get there by surrender. Surrender.
Yeah, and that's how we learn how to hear his voice. How many times do people ask, how do I hear God? Is this God?
Yeah.
Is this not God? And
Yeah.
I'm just convinced the more time I spend listening to him,
Yeah.
I know his voice, and then I can play the game. I think we talk about this in this message or one of our messages.
This message.
Yeah, we talk about that game. How do I know what I'm supposed to do? Who does it sound like?
Right.
You know?
That's right.
I'm listening
Right.
to a podcast and something says in my heart, you should listen to worship. Who's telling me to do that?
Where did that come from?
Where did that come from?
Whose voice is that?
You know, hey, don't say that mean thing to Bryson that you wanted to say. Who's stopping me, right?
If Christians are going to say something like, I was tempted and my flesh made me, if they're going to say that, then let's take that to the converse. If my flesh didn't, but something, then it's probable that I heard the voice of God. I'm going to get really specific and give some examples, and I'm not going to do it on this podcast. I'm going to suggest you watch the message. This section on the Bible is going to conclude with the Bible and how do I use the Bible? How does loving God, how does that happen by reading this all the time? What does that look like? Loving God and the outcropping of loving God as a student of his word happens 2 ways: consistency in his word and his spirit. And I'm going to talk about what that means for using his word as the lamp unto my feet, the light unto my path, as the guide. At the same time, how do I use his word, and how do I listen to his spirit, and how do those two together help me grow towards loving God? I'm going to talk to you about that in the message, and we might even be brave enough to link to it in
at the end of the show.
Yeah.
In fact, at the end of the show, you'll see this week's message. You can click that.
Boom.
All right. So one of our operational principles here at Manna Church is the Bible is the handbook for life. Why do we say that?
Why do we say that?
Yeah.
I feel like I was asked this question before on the podcast, and I had to ramble through some kind of an answer.
Oh, really?
We say that because the Bible is the handbook for life. The Bible does not speak to every one of your ethical behaviors, but the Bible speaks to the heart posture behind all of them.
That's
The
right.
Bible does not speak to, here's a list of all the actions to take. It's not a textbook of all the actions. It is a heart. It's like a pitch. It's like a pitch. I used to sing in choirs, and
Like
they would have somebody that would have the tuning
a
fork
tuning
before we
fork.
would sing.
Pitch pipe, yeah.
If we're going to sing a cappella, there'd be a pitch pipe. It's like the pitch pipe. It's like the tuning fork. It's the thing that tunes my heart. So then my ethical behaviors come from a heart that's surrendered here. And like I said last week, I think it was Leon Morris, a heart that loves God and loves others the way he commands in his word will not have to spend inordinate amount of time hair splitting.
That's the right answer. and it's the accessible answer. I think elevating the Word of God, I think thinking of it as it is really our authoritative rule for life and faith and conduct.
Yes.
It's where the buck stops in my life. So yes, it's the handbook for life, and there's practical, how do I get through this day and how do I parent stuff? That's lovely, but it really is the way that the sovereign God of the universe has chosen to reveal his will and plan for us and make known to us his plan, the meta narrative of his grand story. This is where we find it. Yeah.
I think why is the Bible the handbook for life? John chapter 1, verse 1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Because all authority, Jesus says in Matthew 28, all authority in heaven and in earth has been given to this book that you guys are going to write. No, all authority in heaven and earth has been given to me. In Jesus is the fulfillment of everything.
Yeah.
And his word says that in the beginning he was, and regardless of whether it was written yet or not, he is not this book, but he has revealed himself in its pages.
There you go. So, and I don't know if this may have been what you were alluding to a moment ago, but his spirit sounds like his word, and his word sounds like his spirit.
Absolutely.
You want to unpack that? I know we were talking about this earlier this week in your office.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot to share about this in regards to learning to discern the voice of the Lord by starting reading with the Bible. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. He says in John that my sheep know me because they know my voice. So I know people like to start with, we're going to talk about 3 habits today: prayer, worship, and the Bible.
Yeah.
And more often than not, people want to start in that order. Prayer, worship, prayer, worship, prayer, worship, if I get to it, the Bible. The challenge is biblical worship is based on, or Jesus-centered worship is based on the Bible, and especially in prayer, learning to discern what his voice sounds like. He gave you hundreds of thousands of pages worth of it. So the more you read this, the more you discern what his voice sounds like.
It's almost like this. Have you ever got a text from somebody and you could tell the moment that you read the text that someone else got a hold of their phone?
Yes.
Like someone took your wife's phone and tried to text you as if they were her, and you could tell right away, that's not my wife, or whoever it is, right?
As the fathers with teenagers and older teenagers, it's coming.
It's coming.
Just so you're aware.
Brace yourself.
Well,
when you get a text from your wife that asks for something or something to be brought home, and you're like,
That's not it.
What? Or saying, let's have this for dinner, it's like, that's a kid.
Why do you know it's not her?
Because it doesn't sound like her.
Because it doesn't sound.
It's not
You've
her voice.
spent enough time with her.
Yeah, it's not her voice.
You've read enough texts from her.
Yeah.
You know what she sounds like.
Oh, yeah.
When you're in the Bible and you read the Bible enough,
Yep.
you start to learn the voice of the Lord. And so
right.
when that familiar voice comes to your mind and tells you something that's not who God says I am.
Right.
That's not what the Bible says.
Yeah.
I know that's not the voice of the Lord because that's not what God
Again,
says.
I'm going to give some real specifics there, and I at the risk of preaching before we preach it. Let's
and
watch us preach it.
And I'm going to go there as it relates to prayer and worship. I will say that a lot of people try to enter into the musical form of worship and wonder why they're still stuck, why they're not walking in freedom, why there's this emotional roller coaster of what they're getting. They're actually chasing dopamine hit, thinking that it's the Holy Spirit that they're hitting. Wow. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying you're chasing a dopamine hit because your arms lifted singing is not really rooted in what does this really say. The power of Christ is my firm foundation is, I know what Matthew chapter 7 says. That's what I'm singing. That's what I'm singing. Like it's that connection, I put my faith in Jesus. My heart's going back to his word, or being able to pray his promises and walk in faith in hard, ugly situations and receive bad news and pray through that. If it's not anchored in what has he already said, we're going to be in trouble.
So important. It's so important, so important, so important. And why we sing what we sing. And I gave most of my life to musical worship. So to say that I don't think it's a big deal, that's what I thought I was going to do with all of the rest of me. And it's what I did with most of the beginning of me. So I've got 30 plus years devoted to musical worship, thinking that was the highlight of my connection with God and the reason I was put on the planet. The difficulty that I've got is I sit through worship sets all the time in churches or places where people sing to each other about God and don't ever sing to him. Now, some of that is because some of the songs are shallow. And I don't mean to be cruel or mean, but some of that is because they don't know what to say to him, I think. Because otherwise, I mean, it's the equivalent of the reason the Bible is so important in prayer and so important in worship is because you get into these deep connections. And we've done this. You've been on a date with your wife, the woman you love, the woman that you got babies with this woman. Like there's no other person on the planet that you know as well as this woman.
Yeah.
And it's almost as if in worship and prayer, we'll get to places where it's like I'm sitting at a table with my wife that I love on a date. And instead of talking to her and about her, I stand up and start walking around the restaurant and going, see that girl over there? Isn't she awesome? Isn't she great? Let me tell you all the things about her, as opposed to sitting with her and talking to her.
Yeah.
It's so important
That's a
because
good analogy.
that's the Bible is not just a story about him. It's a story about his preferences. Yeah. It's about the way he thinks. I mean, if you think the Old Testament means nothing, or the law means nothing, you know what I find in the law? He loves to be worshipped. He likes to be approached a specific way. He's really fancy. He's really powerful.
Right.
He's really majestic. He's almost showy in a way. When you look at all the trappings of the tabernacle,
creative.
He's so creative.
Yeah.
He's so interested in art. He's
And he cares.
deeply.
And he cares deeply about things that, to me, like, why does that make sense? And this good father cares enough to say, hey, stay away from that thing there because it's going to get you sick, but I don't need to tell you about the get you sick part. Just trust me. Don't eat that. Don't go there.
Yeah.
Don't do it this
Just
way.
trust
like,
me. Yep.
Just trust me.
Yeah.
If you just do it this
Okay.
way, it's
Trust and
that's
obey,
such
for there's
care.
no other way.
We could stay
to be
on
happy
this-
in Jesus, but to trust and obey.
We could stay on this topic of the Bible for so long.
I'm already off the topic.
I do
because
have
I'm
one-
talking about prayer and worship now.
Well, I do have one more question because I know people are going to wonder this. They're hearing us talk about the Bible, and wow, it sounds like you're getting so much out of this. What do you do in the dry seasons? What do you do when you don't understand something?
Show up.
What do you
Keep
do
reading.
when
Next
you
question.
don't agree with it?
Show up. Keep reading. Next question. Yes,
Is
there's
it
so
phony
many
to
times.
show up when it
No,
feels
it's not
dry?
phony to show up when it's dry. Listen, people that say that are equating emotion with authenticity. If my emotion fires, then that's me being authentic. Falsehood and lies.
I'm still a recovering Pentecostal. I'm just charismatic. I'm just charismatic enough to say this and mean it. When I really understand who I'm walking with, there is no dry season. There is no, because he is with me. There's never a lack. To imply there's a dry season means it implies there's a lack. Something is off. I'm not getting what I need. And I think he always has exactly what we need for that moment. I get the sentiment. I understand it might feel like that to my flesh, but man, he's always there. There's always something to learn.
good
There's always
distinction.
something to grow in all of the time.
Don't be offended, but don't be offended by this statement. Don't be offended by this statement. But the more years you do this, the less that becomes even a thing to think about or an issue. Because the more I read about it, the more I remember some study from the past or something jumps in or some. That is the thing I love about YouVersion. So while I don't read on YouVersion necessarily all the time, my family, my wife and my kids that have phones, we've got the talk it over button at the end. We all read the plan together. So we'll post things to each other. So we'll actually have an ongoing throughout the day conversation.
This?
Yeah,
Check that out. Yeah, that's cool.
Think about this. What do you think about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for saying that because my robot brain just wanted to say, what even is this dry season that you speak of? Like, I get it. I understand it conceptually, but
We should reframe it because what I was taught when I was a kid, or I thought I was taught, what I thought I heard the mature adults saying was that everything is the peak. If you're serious about God, everything is the peak. And that's not true.
That's not true.
Because he is not the peak. My life is peaks and valleys. He's with me in the midst of all of them. So sometimes we say it's a dry season. No, it's a valley season where it just feels like the crap is crappy.
Don't despise the valley.
That's
Don't
it.
despise the valley.
Yeah, that's it. Psalm 23, he's with me in all of those phases of the journey. And if this is a rivers of living water flowing up, if you drink from me, you'll never thirst again kind of Jesus, what he says in John, then, oh yeah, I've got what I need. Even when life is beating me up, even when I'm winning and crushing it, I've got what I need. But you only get to that place when you have this practice. I'm with them. I'm hearing them. I'm spending time. So I love that. Show up.
Show up.
Show up next time.
Just keep showing up.
Yeah.
I get reaction to
consistency.
that every now and again when I say that the most important thing believers do is just show up
keep swimming.
next time.
Just keep swimming.
Yeah,
Just keep showing
faithfulness
up.
is one of the fruit of the Spirit.
I know. Yeah.
Which that's good that you brought that up, which means we cannot manufacture it. It's a
You are
fruit.
exhausting,
It's
Bryson.
a fruit of the Spirit.
He's been trolling me off screen this entire. You just been having.
Bro. Oh my
I
gosh.
have never trolled Chris once.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
So what am I supposed? If I respond to that, am I reacting? Am I?
I don't even know anymore. Wow. All right, let's talk a little bit more about prayer. We've already been bleeding over into this.
Yeah.
Paul says, "Pray without ceasing." What's
Yeah.
he talking about?
He's talking about a posture of ongoing connection. So one of the things I'm going to tell you about prayer is that prayer, you should be looking for opportunities. Again, we'll go back to that human relationship thing. But like when I met my wife, I was interested in finding ways to connect with her. Like I tried to manufacture ways that, oh my gosh, you ended up here. Oh my gosh. Or for younger people now, they're trolling each other's Instagram, trying to find a way trying to find a way to comment, say something that'll get her or his attention. I think that's what Paul's communicating. I'm looking for ways and moments and times where I can communicate with him, and I want to communicate with him, and I'm looking for it to happen.
Yeah, if prayer is communication with God, then it's almost this throwback to Eden, walking with him in the cool of the day.
Oh, yeah, I
My
love that.
prayer life is really that.
Yeah.
He's always there. There is no there that I have to go to get to him. If I can just realize, we've used that kind of upside down analogy a lot. Like there's this other thing behind the veil. That's where he is, just right there.
Yeah.
All of the time.
You're talking about Stranger Things. It's
Yeah.
almost as if the spiritual realm is like the upside down in Stranger Things. It's just right there.
It's just right there. So
right there.
So my prayer life, praying without ceasing, is just that awareness of, there's a connection. I don't have to work it up. I don't have to put on a certain thing.
Right.
I can just
No
all the
certain
time.
place, no certain time. It's
No.
ongoing conversation. I don't know if y'all have ever experienced this. There's been times where, and it doesn't have to just be a request, like, Lord, help me with this. He's not a spiritual vending machine, but it's a relationship. There are times where I'm just talking to him. This is how I feel. Lord, what are you saying here? I don't understand this. There's been times where, and I can't think of an example, but there's been times where I've chuckled myself because I feel like,
I just chuckled to myself.
chuckled to myself.
Okay, all right.
Because I felt like, the Holy Spirit was highlighting something that was like, oh, that was funny. You know, anyway. But it's just that ongoing, like, this is a relationship. I don't just go to you when I'm seeking your hand. I'm seeking your face.
Yeah, he's not a vending machine, and I have it doesn't happen every time, but I have asked him. I want to be close to him, like where he shows me his heart and how he feels about certain things. And I've noticed times where, whether in worship or in prayer or even out on the golf course, where all of a sudden I get the distinct impression that he's with me, and at the same time that he's enjoying this. Mm-hmm. And I want to connect to him on a heart, emotional, relational level, where it's like, man, I remember one time I was with some buddies and we were standing by a lake and we were talking about something and the sun was going down, and I just interrupted and was like, let's just have a worship moment here for just one quick sec, because I'm not trying to be a weird spiritualist or whatever, but God is showing off right now, and I'm very aware of his presence and of his pleasure and of his he's enjoying us right now, and he's enjoying us enjoying what he's doing. And so let's just pause for a second. And that is, I'm not over or understating, I don't think. I think that is prayer, and I think that is worship. And the only way I knew that is because I've studied enough of this to know, wait a minute, God created and spoke, and I thought about this, and that led me to prayer and worship. There it is.
I love how you even described in that story that you're in the midst of this conversation, you're playing golf, and it's almost like, I hate to use the word interruption, but it's almost as if it's so obvious to you.
That happens to
it's
me outside
happening.
all the time. I find myself going, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
And so something I've been praying a lot recently, Lord, may I become more aware of your presence. Yeah. It's not like you left me and then you came all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But there are times where I'm just so knuckleheaded that I'm not seeing it right in front of me.
Yeah.
And it's like, Lord, I want to become more, may I be resensitized. That's actually something I prayed in the message last week as we were ending. May we be resensitized to his presence. Because there are times where we become callous. Mm-hmm. We get distracted. There are other things that are happening in our heart, and we don't sense it.
How does callousness happen? Callousness happens by
Sin.
repetition, repeated action. So callousness happens
Oh,
by
physical callus. Yeah,
physical.
calluses on my hands from doing the same thing
repeated action
over
and over again. So why is sin bad for you? Because sin creates separation. Because sin creates callousness. Because you become cold
good.
to feeling and experiencing His presence. So we're not interested in cleaning the church up and getting sin out of here so it doesn't taint us. What?
Yeah.
The sin doesn't splash on me. You can walk into church drunk and high and ain't none of that getting on me. Had nothing to do with that. It's about you being callous to being aware of His presence. And my heart and my job and the reason I'm on the planet is to help people connect to Him, whether for the first time or for the 4 millionth time. But that's why I'm here. So that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. I've been in seasons in ministry where I have felt the effect of that callousness. Again, not a dry season, but definitely, there's things we've let access to our lives, or there's postures of philosophies of ministry maybe that we have taken that, the end result of that is we're wondering why we can't hear from God, and we got to clean this thing up here.
Yeah.
Take
Absolutely.
a picture. It'll last longer.
Is he still? What is he doing? You keep referencing
Every time I
this.
turn around, there's like this.
I am at a desk facing the table. I am meant to produce the show by
At this point, I don't believe you.
No, like Nick,
wild.
you know that I'm like basically behind your shoulder. There's two people for me to look
You
at.
see, this doesn't sound like his voice.
Yeah, something changed.
So something's
something-
different. Something's off.
going on.
It's called
So
the flu, is what it's called.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Why are you?
That
with us?
escalated. Wow.
Okay.
That's
Why?
a get out of jail free card.
Genuine question. Why is distraction, not necessarily silence or noise, why is distraction the biggest hindrance?
Because silence or noise is something you can tune out. You know how I know that? I have kids. How many
That's
times,
the truth, man.
bro? The sun has gone down. Dinner is done. We done hung out and played. What happens next, Nick?
I'm not going to talk about it.
The kids go to bed.
Yeah.
It's bedtime.
Look.
So this is not an issue of there's too much noise, Father. I had no. You ain't focused, and you're deliberately not focused because you ain't trying to hear my voice. So it's not that you're ignoring my voice. You're trying to stay out of ways where you can hear my voice. The issue with distraction is that your focus and your attention is not on hearing Him.
Right.
So I'm saying, because I've heard people tell me like you can't have a time of prayer or whatever if your kids are up, or the dishwasher's on because it makes too much noise. Bah humbug.
Yeah. Man,
I can be focused.
I remember before I had kids, I used to think, like, you go to the, public places and you hear kids, screaming, doing their thing. And it was just so distracting. And as a young buck, I was like, man, they need to get a hold of their kids. After I had kids, I was like, I can pay attention through all of that stuff. I can be in church service. And
You are
someone was
distracted by my yelling kid, but I am ignoring them.
Yeah. I've been in church service and someone said, man, did you hear that kid in service? I didn't. I've got my parent ears now, and like anyway, it's funny. Funny how that works.
Yeah.
That's not we should clarify that statement. That's not let your kids act crazy and wild. In places, in public
Yes.
spaces,
good point.
you should be aware of your actions and your children's actions and their effect on other people.
Yes, great point.
You should be self-aware enough to go, you know what, this is not the time or the place to act this way in the checkout line at Walmart. Like, let's all woo-saw for one hot second. However, you have to develop, in order to develop this rhythm, you have to develop the ability to be able to tune into what He's doing, regardless of whether there's noise or silence. Or there are times where you were in all staff on Monday.
Yeah.
So we pray as a staff together every Monday morning, and I led the prayer time. And there's sometimes where we have keys or some kind of thing happening behind, so it helps us focus.
And sometimes we don't.
On Monday morning, we
did
didn't.
not.
Love it.
We didn't.
Same thing when I was leading that.
I deliberately didn't do that, not because
too.
I was reacting necessarily, but because I just thought we're going to have a time of prayer, and I'm not going to help.
Yeah.
We're just gonna see where we are. Put our finger on the pulse and see how
chase
well we can
I don't need a song
eliminate
to chase 'em.
distraction.
Yeah, and I think that's the heart behind distraction isn't necessarily the absence of sound, because again, we have to move away from thinking we can manufacture His presence, conjure up His presence, conjure up some closeness, and so sometimes you just have to be able to do that regardless of the where and the what, because He's always there. Nothing that I'm doing is really going to change that at all, if that makes
Right,
sense.
yeah.
So of course, I think silence is one of those Jesus practices.
Absolutely.
So there is a moment where shut it all off.
Yep.
I think solitude is very much one of those practices.
True.
But why I think we harp so much on distraction, especially in our digitally distracted age, is I think it's just one of the number one tools of the enemy. The Bible talks about this spirit of Antichrist. If you were thinking of a spirit of anti-Holy Spirit, it is distraction. What can pop up, even if it seems good, to keep you from locking into what he's trying to do.
If Jesus won and the enemy's been defeated, then all the enemy has left is intimidation and lies. And what is his hope then? To actually defeat the church? He can't. So what's he going to do? If I can't defeat the church, may as well distract the church.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I was going to. Is that Lewis paraphrase? Like, that's keep us busy. That's really what the enemy's trying to do.
Okay.
You're probably not going to stumble into sin, you who are fully devoted to Jesus. So the tactic is, well, just keep you busy. I'll keep you distracted.
Is that screw tape?
Yeah, I think it's screw tape. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Screw tape
Got it.
letters?
Yeah.
Okay, so before we move on,
My dearest Wormwood.
so oftentimes when we think about prayer, especially as non-denominational, we think of stream of thought. Is there anything wrong with canned prayers or liturgy
Better
or
not
repetition?
be. So I pray the Lord's Prayer form. I'll teach it in the message. I pray the Lord's Prayer form almost every day. And my go-to, if I'm like, man, I don't know where to start prayer this morning, is the Anglican Book of Common Prayer.
Yep.
I am not an Anglican, but I absolutely...
Yeah.
My non-denominationalism is not a rejection of form.
That's
it is
great.
also not a rejection of tradition.
I love that.
I don't give part of our money to a denomination and thereby espouse to a certain level of hierarchical.
Sure. But we don't need to throw out the baby
Church
with
government.
the bathwater.
No, I do every morning. I pray what's called the daily office.
Yeah.
It's built on the Book of Common Prayer. I pray it every single day. I recite the Apostles' Creed. I pray the Lord's
Wow.
Prayer. It's a part of my normal rhythm. I grew up classical Pentecostal, so if you're not tracking what that means, the exact opposite of everything I just said is my background. But I do it again because it just connects me to this thing that's bigger than me. I think I talked about this last podcast. It connects me to this great big church that has been around forever, and I know there's so many believers doing it. and
The Daily
I appreciate
Office is an app on my phone.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I use it on my phone.
So I think some people may hear that, and if they've grown up only in a non-denominational setting, maybe they hear that and they say, well, aren't you just slipping into just checking off the box? Or is there a spiritual discipline to repetition and beating truth into your...
The more you love God, the more you love each other, the more you surrender to Him, the less you'll be concerned about questions like that.
That's it. I was going to say, that's not the only thing that I do. And I've been in ministry a little bit now, and I just...
a little bit now.
For me, my doing something will always trump the nothing that you are doing. So I typically find the person who would ask that question has no rhythm. They have no... again, we don't compare against each other. That's not what I'm saying. But to Chris's point, when you're walking in this journey and doing your own thing, you don't even think about that stuff.
I went to the Wailing Wall, and I went up under the spot where
In the old city,
where they get right up to where the Holy of Holies was kept. And I became keenly aware of His presence, and I almost visibly broke down. I was crying because they're praying and crying out for Him, and He's right here, and they're not aware. They're not aware of His presence. And I did all the trappings that they asked me to. I put on the yarmulke. I did all of the Jewish prayer rituals, and I'm not Jewish.
Yeah.
And yet, I don't think I walked out of there and my Jewish Savior went, tisk, tisk, look at that non-denominate. Look at that non-denom trying to do denom. How dare he?
Here's another crazy story from a different, that's the Jewish religion, right? I was in Myanmar, Burma, in 2020, January 2020. We went to the Shwedagon Pagoda. It's one of the largest Buddhist pagodas on earth. We went there, Christians, we're out there on a trip, and you're there barefoot. You walk up this massive staircase, no shoes allowed. We get to the top, and it's just marble floor, ornate everything. And we prayer walked for like 2 hours, believers, up there. And I'll tell you what happened to me. I saw this Buddhist lady travailing before a little statue. And it's probably top 5 moments that my heart connected to pray for someone, because, man, she really believes this God can hear her. But I just connected with that human being. The earth is the Lord and the people in it. That's kind of what we were praying. Like, all these people belong to Him. Did that make me slip into Buddhism? Did I pray the way that they were praying? No, I think we got to be careful of
I have honored every trapping or tradition of a religious place that I've been to without ever setting aside Christianity.
Yeah.
Every Buddhist temple, all those places that Hindu, all those places that I visited, I don't participate in the rituals, but I always obey the
Yeah,
honor
but you're
code.
respectful.
But the horse that we keep beating, right? At the end of the day, it's only because of time with him in his word that is what preps you and prepares you to be able to walk.
Yeah, I wouldn't take that attitude and go, I can do what Chris and Carlo just said and go up to the Buddhist temple and wherever and pull that off. You're going to get your butt handed to
right.
you.
Careful.
I wouldn't do that.
We preached that in Acts, by the way.
We did.
Yeah, there's a whole chapter.
And we've got stories, but
Jesus I've heard of.
That's right.
Paul I know.
But who are you? That's right. Yeah. All right. So we've talked about the Bible. We talked about prayer. We started talking about worship a little bit more, but let's just focus on that for a little bit more. What would you give as a definition of when we say
Worship is any action. Worship is any action that draws attention to or places Jesus as Lord. Now, when I say that, be careful. I'm not saying that my action is what enthrones Jesus. He's enthroned whether I'm worshiping or not. That's just the human understanding of how we worship. Any action, any thought, any behavior that either magnifies or places Jesus on his throne.
Okay.
Yeah, but the biblical words there, especially, it's really cool. The Greek and the Hebrew, it's a posture connotation. So it's a lowering yourself in the presence of one that's greater. My translation of it is acknowledging there's a God and I'm not that God.
Yeah.
So worship, I'm always going to put myself, the worship that we use in English, the old English of that, worthship, to attribute to someone what they're worth. So everything that Chris just said, anything that I'm doing that does that, he's high and lifted up. I'm just honored to be here. Glad that I haven't been smitten, you know what I'm saying? Like
smited. Without turning, and it's why I'm so passionate about musical worship and the waste of it. Without turning it into a woe is me and all my worries and all my fears and all how I can't, don't waste time with that. If you can get to singing to him, about him, enthroning him as Lord, the lordship of Jesus, if worship and every action and every song that you sing and every moment of musical worship is about enthroning Jesus and reveling in his lordship, all the list of things you came in with, he's going to start touching those things as a byproduct of your worship, not as the point. And I find people far too often go to this sprint towards the throne and start erecting hurdles, going, well, let's just toss this up in front. Let's talk about me and my doubt and how, he might fail, but then again, he might not fail, but will he fail? And also his love is reckless and all this non-biblical nonsense.
Who wrote Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus? It's not a hymn. It's more of a chorus.
Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face.
The things of this earth grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace, right? So
she was blind.
There you go.
She lost her sight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so true or false? Corporate worship flows from private devotion.
True.
Explain.
So this weekend, I always talk about individual and corporate and collective. This weekend is going to sound really individual until I get to the end and say, all right, now I'm going to build to something next week, because these big three, the Bible, prayer, and worship, all together, these big three are what fuel all the rest of everything. It's not that they're the most important necessarily, but once a life is surrendered to Jesus and a love relationship is begun, and then these three things start as the flow, everything's going to come from that.
Yeah.
So the foundation of collective corporate worship is individual worship. And the foundation of individual worship is the Bible and prayer. So if you go to church and go, man, I really wish we could plumb the depths of no disses here.
Yep.
But the Pentecostal charismatics will sometimes go off into the crazy, Holy Spirit tornado trains that aren't necessarily founded in anything and wonder why everybody's lives are all falling apart. But man, we're having a great emotional experience on the weekend. I'm saying the moves of God that last are grounded in prayer and the Bible that then result in the collective expression of worship together that people go, man, I want a piece of that. And then that's what leads to ultimately Jesus revolutions.
And I've also been in corporate gatherings where the lighting was amazing and the timing was perfect and the service was efficient and no lives were changed. And a service happened and good people got up and watched people sing to them about Jesus, and then they sat down and listened to someone talk to them about the Bible and about God things, and they walk out and no tangible life change happened. And I know, just a little bit of investigation and research, you can look and see, oh, that's because there's not this life grounded in the Word. These are not everyone in here is all running in the same direction. And so, yeah, we're gathering corporately, but individually, we're not following.
Is he doing something
I think
again?
producer Bryson is giving me the look. Like
Okay. No. All right. So this is the last thing. So I've got a speed round. I'm going to see how many of these questions you guys can answer in about 60 seconds. So hold us to it. You ready? So we just talked about 3 habits: Bible, prayer, and worship. Which one's the hardest?
For me or for anyone?
In general, yeah, sure.
I think many people struggle with Bible.
Okay.
I would say prayer.
You think prayer? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what to say.
How do these habits change or adapt when life gets busy?
They change or adapt if life gets busy. There's 24 hours in a day.
Bible,
Like,
prayer,
how busy
worship.
we talking about?
Yeah. When life gets busy, do I change my habits?
Everybody got 15, 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
So they don't.
And
is
again,
what you're saying.
and again, gains, not gaps. It doesn't really
Yeah.
change. Something is always going to be better than no thing.
Yeah.
Which can sabotage us more, inconsistency or unrealistic expectations?
Unrealistic expectations
Unrealistic expectations are what
lead to inconsistency.
There
Yeah.
it is. All right. Does spiritual growth come from discipline or from desire?
Yes.
I love that answer.
Yes, with the just caveat that ultimately the one who grows our spirit, it's his work to do.
Correct.
At the end of the day, he's the one that transforms my life and my heart. The growth that matters, the growth that matters.
Because it comes back to those 2 words.
Yeah.
Show
up.
up.
That's it. All right. I got a question for you guys. Drop it in the comments down below. Is there a habit that you just started, or is there a habit that you just stopped? Drop it in the comments down below. Curious to see. All right. Producer Bryson, I know you're just chomping at the bit. What do you got for us?
Yeah, we have a Manna mailbag. Wait, is this the button? Wow,
Oh!
look at that.
That's the old Manna mailbag. Go to the one underneath.
Underneath.
Yep.
Nope.
Manna mailbag. Nope. The one underneath that. Oh.
Wow.
Let's try this. We've got a Manna mailbag. Oh.
That
I don't
that
like
feels like I'm on How to Be a Millionaire. Or the
I don't like
Do
it.
the button to the next
my
to it.
God.
Manna mailbag.
What is happening?
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope, I'm out.
Is
I
the
don't
first
like
one?
either of those. Yeah, the
No. All right. What do you got?
Okay. All right. I'm so tired. Okay, Michael Graves has a question. This is actually going to make our Manna mailbag
Picatinny
episode.
Arsenal.
Forget it. I'm not even going to.
That's where he's at?
Yeah.
That's where he is.
Oh, okay, great. I was like, what do
Manna Church Picatinny Arsenal. Michael Graves. The Michael Graves.
Okay, great. His question
Hot
for
dog.
the Manna mailbag is, what would you say to someone who is able to lead others toward salvation, relationship with Christ, but is unable to lead relatives in the same manner?
Oh.
Don't worry, Michael. That weight's not on you. The Holy Spirit's the one that removes
right.
scales from people's eyes. You be faithful and show up.
Obedient.
The Lord's going to move when the Lord's going to move, and it's my job to be there when he falls.
Results are not up to us.
Hallelujah.
Yeah,
Obedience.
let's bust the myth of what leading someone to the Lord is. Are you leading them to the Lord and then they can make a decision, or leading them to the Lord and they cross the finish line?
I'm creating an environment for an introduction, baby.
Yeah, that's leading to the Lord is there's the Jesus.
That's
So
right.
if you haven't shared with your relatives, if you haven't shared the gospel with them, and the Lord's prompting you to do that, you should do that. But if you have and they just haven't responded,
Obey.
That's not on
Obey
you.
what the Lord's told you to do, and you leave the results to Him. Hallelujah.
Yeah, that's awesome. For anyone who doesn't know what this segment is, you submit questions to us, and we will answer them. So we keep a running list of them. So if you have questions, anything throughout this episode that you thought, oh, I'd like to know a little bit more about it, great, you can comment down below, and then we will choose a question, and then we will
we
answer
love
it.
answering your questions.
That's
Yes,
right.
Drop
We
them
do.
down below. All right. We love you guys. Bless you. And hey, if you live in the Fayetteville, Fort Bragg area, or even if you don't, would you go to manna.church? See if there's a Manna Church next to you. We would love for you to join us, or you could always join us online at manna.church, or just stay on our YouTube channel. Watch our videos there. You could do that. But we love you guys. God bless you. And until next time, let's change the world. Check out our website, manna.church, to find ways you can get connected with our services, small groups, outreaches, and more.